Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm continuing my Jules Verne series in this video. I had to skip over. If you've been following this series, you know that my last video was about a play called The Guimard, which I enjoyed. It was about the painter Jacques-Louis David, whatever. And the next play after that in 1850 is titled When Love Dines. I am not able to come across any English translations of that play, so I can't report on that. And I'm running into that a lot. Of the first 13 works by Verne, I've only been able to get a hold of 3 of them. And so this is number 13, The 1002nd Night, which comes from this book, Scherazade's Last Night and Other Plays, first English translation. It's published by Bear Manor Media and the North American Jules Verne Society, which right now is doing a great job at bringing Jules Verne's lesser known works into English translations, and I absolutely love these people. I hope they work faster so that I can go back and do a lot more of these plays, because after this play it looks like I'm going to be skipping a few. I do have another book coming though that should give me some of what's next. But there will be more of these early works of Jules Verne's that I'm going to have to skip over because I just can't get English translations of them, and I don't read French. So, skipping ahead then from number 11 to number 13, the play is titled The 1002nd Night. Was originally performed in 1850, and as you can probably guess, it's about Scherazade and the 1001 Nights. And in this story, Scherazade has finished the 1001st night, but as she was telling her story, her last story, everybody fell asleep. So the next day they want her to finish that story, to go back and tell the rest of that story. But she can't remember. And as it turns out, she can't remember any of the stories that she had recited over the last 1001 nights. She's drawing a complete blank on all of it. So then, even though she did tell the story the previous night, they didn't hear it, and so she's not done. And since she's saying she can't finish, she's not meeting the demands that she completely recite 1001 tales in succession, and that means off with her head. But nobody really wants to kill Scherazade. The play is obviously a comedy, and the Arabian Nights were very popular in the 1800s. There were a lot of translations of it. Burton's translation is the best known, and it resulted in a lot of stories that are very well loved and are handed down and have been turned into Disney movies, and these are favorite stories, and so some authors did. Edgar Allan Poe did write about the 1002nd story of Scherazade, and Jules Verne wrote this play. Verne doing this is not anything surprising given the interest in the Arabian Nights. Reading it today, it doesn't hold up that well. It seems too easy of a plot, too simple of a plot. It doesn't go far enough, deep enough. Could be better. it's just not enough of a story anymore. For its day, it was probably great. For today's reader, though, I find it to just be lacking a bit. It was interesting, though, but I would only suggest that the Verne completist or scholar look up this play and read it. I do suggest buying books from the North American Jules Verne Society, but unless you're deeply into Verne, maybe this isn't the best one for you. They have a bunch of others that are, his Voyages Extraordinaires novels. So I would send you that route if these don't sound like your sort of thing. And that completes this book then, too. There are 3 plays that I got out of this. All of his 3 earliest plays that I can get are in this book, and I have finished reading this book, and it goes on my shelf as part of my collection. And I move on with Jules Verne. Like I say, the next stories, I'm not sure which ones I'm going to be able to get a hold of. The next play on my list, number 14, is titled The Scholars from 1851. We'll see if I can get it. If not, I'll skip over whatever I can't get a hold of until I reach one that I can report on. So leave comments if you have comments to make. If you know anything about these early Jules Verne plays, I'd love to hear more about them. These were unknown to me when I started my complete read of Jules Verne. I stumbled onto them and actually have had to backtrack because I didn't know about them when I started my Jules Verne project. So it's been fascinating, but I'm also not thoroughly informed about these plays. So leave comments if you know things I don't know. And otherwise, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and come on back for more Jules Verne, whatever I end up reading next, and a lot of other literature that we talk about on Telltale Books.